Hello friends, let's discuss current affairs and today's first questions about the Oscar Awards. With regard to the 95th Academy Awards, identify the correctly matched pair of twins. All are right here. So we're going to discuss the Oscars. Now I want you to write, this being the main title, 95th Academy Awards, also called the Oscars. Okay, please write Best Picture. So because these are all for best, you could say as well say picture. Okay, Best Picture, this is it. Yeah, Everything Everywhere at Once. Next, Best Director. Now Best Director was won by two Daniels. Okay, two Daniels. The first names of both these guys, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schneert. Okay, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schneert, two guys directed this film and they got this award for this film, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Okay, next, so we got picture, best picture and best directors. Next, best actor, it's already mentioned here. Best actor is mentioned, best actress is mentioned. Next, best supporting actor, best supporting actor, best supporting actor. I'll clear this, it's easy. We'll have enough space to write. Best actors, sorry, best supporting actress. Yeah, best supporting actor we said K Quay. Okay, I think we'll just yeah, Kwan, K Kwan, K Kwan. It's a long name, K Hui Kwan, but just write K Kwan, easy to remember. And he got this Kwan got the best supporting actor award for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Let's call it EE, Everything Everywhere. Next, from the best supporting actor to the best supporting actress, please. Best supporting actress, Jamie Lee Curtis. Again for the same film, Everything Everywhere All at Once. So we got best picture, director, yeah, the two Daniels, Kwan and Schneert. Then we got the best actor, Brendan Fraser for The Whale. Best actress, Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Again in the best supporting actor and best supporting actress category for the same film, Everything Everywhere All at Once. The winners were K Hui Kwan for the best supporting actor, and for best supporting actress it was Jamie Curtis. Okay, now let's go a little beyond this. Let's look at a couple of more things, couple of more categories. Best animated feature film, best animated feature film, we'll just take the title, name of the title, Pinocchio. Pinocchio, there is this character called Pinocchio, an animated character whose nose would become long when he would lie. So then you have, we mentioned best animated feature film. Next, best international feature film, best international feature film, All Quiet on the Western Front. Western Front. All Quiet on the Western Front. Then, this was a German film. We could write this. German film directed by Edward Berger. Edward Berger. Edward Berger. Okay. Next, it's already mentioned this best documentary feature is mentioned here, Navalny, This is on the life and times of the Russian opposition leader Alexis Navalny. So we'll not go there. Next, best short, best documentary short subject, best documentary short subject, best documentary short subject. The elephant whisperers. The elephant whisperers. The elephant whisperers. Next, who got this? Who directed this film? This is a lady. This is a director, Kartika Gonsalves. Gonsalves. Okay, no, not Kartika, Kartiki. I'm so sorry, guys. Kartiki Gonsalves. Okay. Then last one, best original song. Best original song. What is a song? We all are familiar with the song. Natu Natu, from the film RRR, 3 hours. Music director M.M. Keeravani. Music director M.M. Keeravani. Lyricist Chandra Bose. Chandra Bose. Okay. Chalo. Of which Indian IT company was Mohit Joshi recently appointed MD and CEO by Tech Mahindra? He succeeds Chandra Prakash Gurnani, CP Gurnani, the outgoing CEO. Chandra Prakash Gurnani. Okay, what about TCS? TCS also has a new CEO. What is his name? Yeah. Karthi Vasan. No, it's not Karthi. It's Kriti. I'm not. Yeah, Kriti. I'm so sorry, guys. Kriti Vasan. New name. May take time to adjust, to learn, to remember. Kriti Vasan is the new CEO, and who is the outgoing CEO? Rajesh Gopinathan. Rajesh Gopinathan. Rajesh Gopinathan. Next, let's clear this first. Infosys CEO is Salil Parekh. The name of the CEO is Salil Parekh. Wipro, Thierry Delaporte. HCL Technologies, C. Vijay Kumar. C. Vijay Kumar. Vijay Kumar is one name. C. Vijay Kumar. Next. Which of the following statements about China is or true? Xi Jinping was recently elected for a third time, an unprecedented third term actually, because the Constitution of China does not allow for any presidency beyond 2 terms. But he brought in the amendment, and this is kind of, there is no upper limit on the number of terms a president could have. So this could be for life actually. The NPC, the National People's Congress, is the national legislature China. National legislature is parliament basically. Li Qiang is the new prime minister of China, and it's easy to remember if you look at the old guy's name Li Keqiang. You remove this Li Qiang. It's the same name actually. Yeah. So all of these are right, and that's along with the currency, name of the currency. Okay. Now I wanted to write a bit more about China. Third biggest by area in brackets, about 96 lakh square kilometers. 96 lakh square kilometers. Next. Total GDP $18.3 trillion. Ours is 3.5. Ours is 3.5. So the value of the total economic output in China, calculated as GDP, gross domestic product, is 18,300 billion, because 1 billion makes 1 trillion, and in this case it is 18.3 trillion, translating into 18,300 billion. Okay. Now China last year grew at 3%, 3% in calendar year, which is also their financial year 22. This was against a target of 5.5% target, okay, in CY22, but unfortunately they grew at 3%, only 3%. And let's take it further on this. You look at their total per capita income is 13,600. Okay, total per capita income, that is a per capita income, per head income, is 13,600. Their total exports, foreign trade is, total exports is 3.57 is 6, let's make it 6, 3.6 trillion. Okay, let's make it this way, 3,600 billion. Okay, total exports. Imports 2.7, okay, 2,700 billion, that is imports. See that huge gap, that's almost, you know, $900 billion gap, my friends. That's a lot of money, my friends. They have a humongous trade surplus. We in India have a trade deficit. We always had a trade deficit. In fact, if you look at the last previous financial year, 21, 22, 23, previous financial year 21, 22, our trade deficit was, foreign trade deficit was $191 billion, and they have a trade surplus of, you know, $900 billion. They export much more than they import. So we got a lot of data here. We mentioned the total GDP of China at $18.3 trillion, that is $18,300 billion. We said that China is the third largest country by area, that's at about 96 lakh square kilometers, third largest in the world. Per capita income of about 13,600, which is 5 times more than India's per capita income. The total exports of China are about $3,600 billion, while their imports are meager compared with the exports. $2,700 billion. So they have a huge trade surplus. Okay, I always like to give extra information that's, it's not a part of any class, but any question here. Which heavy commercial vehicle maker, the H in vehicle is silent, so it should be vehicle. Which heavy commercial vehicle maker unveiled a production line to make engines at its manufacturing facility in Hosur that would entirely be operated by women employees? Ashok Leyland, India's second largest commercial vehicle maker. Largest is Tata Motors. This is owned by the Hinduja Group. It's a part of the Hinduja Group. Hinduja Group, my friends, you know, Hinduja Group, it owns Gulf Oil, you would be familiar with this. It owns IndusInd Bank and a lot of other businesses as well. Okay, and Ashok Leyland's chairperson is a guy called Dheeraj Hinduja. Okay, next, Maruti Suzuki India Limited. Just let me clear this first. Maruti Suzuki India Limited, it is headed by Hisashi Takeuchi. I'm giving you the right spellings. Okay. Mahindra and Mahindra, Anand Mahindra is the chairperson. Tata Motors, the CEO is a guy named Guenter Buschek. Eicher Motors, CEO is Siddharth Lal. Okay. The Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry is organizing the Khelo India Das Kaddam tournament in Delhi. Shall we look at a few things here? Bhopal, Indian Institute of Forest Management. Next, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, Cuttack, National Rice Research Institute, National Rice Research Institute. Okay, next. Mount Merapi, one of the world's most active volcanoes, has recently erupted in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you would find. This is the island of Java, the island of Java. This is the most populated island in in Indonesia. In fact, 50% of the Indonesian population of about 26.5 crore live on this island. Think about it. Yeah. Now, what should you know about this? Merapi. It comes from two words. One Sanskrit word, Meru, which means Parbat, which means mountain, Parbat. Plus Api. Api is Indonesian Bhasha. Indonesian for fire. Indonesian for fire. So Merapi, Meru plus Api. Yeah, this is the nicknamed Fire Mountain. Fire Mountain. It has been erupting for a long time. It's an on and off the kind of thing actually. So this is Indonesia, my friends. It's a pretty large country. This is Singapore at the tip of the Malaysian peninsula. These two are Malaysia. Fair? This island you see here, it's called Borneo. What is it called? Borneo. The southern part is Indonesia, northern part is Malaysia, and with this portion you see here, this one, this is a tiny part. It's called Brunei. Brunei. It's a tiny kingdom run by a guy called Muda Hassan Al Wadullah Bolkiah. Relax. Okay. Let's look at the capitals. Usually I would give more than the capital, the leader and all that. Cuba, the president is a guy called Miguel Sanchez. Don't worry. Just today we'll write down the capitals. Cuba, Havana. Thailand, Bangkok. Cyprus, the capital is Nicosia. Cyprus is divided between Turkey. The northern part of the island of Cyprus is is occupied by Turkey. Most of the territory is controlled by Greece, or the government of Cyprus. What is that? Tokyo is the capital of Japan. Tokyo is the capital of Japan. Tokyo is the capital of Japan. How tall do you think is Mount Merapi? Not very tall. It's I think at about 2,900 meters. 2,900 meters. Okay. By partnering with nation, did India recently work to expand the scope of the free trade agreement with an aim to push bilateral trade to about $100 billion. Australia, in fact, India has bilateral trade with over $100 billion with only two countries. China with about $138 billion last calendar year, 138, and United States about 105. So let's see how it, the aim is pretty good actually. Capital, Brasilia. In the case of Australia, I'll give you the name of the Prime Minister also, because the Prime Minister of Australia was in India recently, just around the time Australian cricket team was in India, and they may just ask you who's the Prime Minister of Australia, and that guy's name is Anthony Albanese. Anthony Albanese. New Zealand, capital is Auckland. Is it Auckland? It's Wellington. I always get confused which name. I don't know why. Always have had confusion regarding this particular thing. It's Wellington. Okay. If I'm incorrect, I'll correct myself in the next class. But of all the countries in the world, if there is one confusion I've always had, despite reading repeatedly, it's New Zealand's capital. I don't know why I always have this dilemma between Wellington and Auckland. Okay. New Zealand's prime minister, they got a new prime minister, a brand new prime minister, Chris Hipkins. Chris Hipkins. Saudi Arabia's prime minister is a guy called, prime minister and crown prince is a guy called Mohammed bin Salman. Mohammed bin Salman. Mexico, capital is Mexico City, so we can here write the name of the leader, who's Manuel, okay, Andre Manuel Obrador. Andre, yeah. Okay. Named the 16th largest American bank that collapsed recently, making it the second biggest bank failure in US history. The largest is Washington Mutual. That was the biggest bankruptcy in the history of America. This is number 2. See, Silicon Valley Bank, is headquartered in Santa Clara. Santa Clara is a small town in the American state of California. Okay, and it was headed by the CEO Gregory Becker. What exactly happened? See, Silicon Valley Bank is not a typical bank that failed, in the sense that it was a very large bank. Its total assets were $225 billion. Some numbers might be different, but I'm giving you the official number. Okay, these are assets. So liabilities were $198 billion. So the liabilities were less than the assets, but it still went bankrupt. Q. See, a bank's major function is simple. Take money from us, for which they pay us interest. They take this in the form of deposits. After taking money from us, they lend that money, okay, at a higher rate of interest compared to what they give it to us. So they pay us, let's say, 5%. They lend at, let's say, 11%. That 6% difference is called margin, interest margin. And that's their source of income, the major source of income. Now, when companies borrow money, that is, they take deposits from people, some of it is lent. Not all of it is lent. Some is lent. Some is kept aside for administrative expenses, salaries, administrative estate costs, rent and all that stuff. Then some of this money is kept as reserve money. Like in India, we have cash reserve ratio, money to be kept with the RBI. Then something called SLR, statutory liquidity ratio. In America, such things don't exist. There is no CRR in America. Okay. But what happened was this. They collected money, let's say $225 billion. Most of this money was kept in long-term bonds. Long-term bonds. When a bank puts money in long-term bonds, it means the money will mature after a long period of time. And let me clear this. So, long-term bond. What is a bond? It's a kind of, let's say, it's a blank paper. Okay? SVB, you went to Silicon Valley Bank and told them, I have money, I want to deposit. So they say, welcome, please deposit. So in return, they will give you this counterfoil that says that my money is with your bank, the account number is so and so, it's a fixed deposit for a period of 1 year, and we at the end of 1 year, the principal and the interest will be paid back by Silicon Valley Bank. But this is 1 year, very short period. 3 years is short period. What SVB did was, it took this money, from depositors, most of which were startups, small companies, okay, new companies, and they invested this in long-term bonds that would mature sometime. This is 2023. Okay, these bonds were put to be matured, let's say in 2035, 2030, 2040, 2030. So constantly, this is 7 years here, this is 20 years here, this is a lot of time here. Okay, so the bond would mature later. Fair. Now the bond was deposited, let's say at 5%. Means the government said, you buy this bond from us, government bond, you buy this bond from us, it's $1,000, pay us $1,000, we'll give this to you. It's, let's say, 12, it's a 12-year bond, it will mature in 2035. You pay us 1,000 now, we'll pay you an interest of, let's say, 5% every year. So for the next 12 years, the interest would be 5% per annum and it would mature in 2035. Yes. Now, this is all good, simple now. They take money from us, some of which is lent and some is interest, saved so that they can earn money on money. But the problem, this all looks good, but the problem is this. The money that they, deposited was for long-term funds, and a bank usually requires money for short-term as well. They have to sometimes pay back the depositors. Now, the US Federal Reserve, what is Federal Reserve? It's their central bank. So they began raising interest rates. Now from 5% they said it is now 7%. Interest rate 7%. So automatically the bond that I have now 5% is not as attractive to you, because now you say that if I buy a government bond, the government will pay me 7%. Why should I buy the bond that will give me 5% return? Isn't it? So you say, I'll not buy. Okay, I'll not buy from Bharat the bond that would give me 5% interest. I would directly buy from the government, because the government is now promising me 7% interest. So the demand for my bond falls. When the demand falls, what would you try to do? You would try to, now nobody is going to buy your bond, so you try to sell. Sell with what? It was we said a $1,000 bond. We said it is now sold at $970. Take it, 1,000 rupees. Yeah, rupee le lo na, kya fark padta hai? You can take any measure. Okay, so 1,000 rupee bond is now being sold at, what is that? 970. What is it? It is minus what? About 3%. Yeah. So I sell. When I sell, someone buys. Why? The guy says, okay, Bharat is selling this bond at 970 to me. Plus, if I tomorrow, I keep the bond with me. Tomorrow, the government will take it, will pay me 1,000 rupees. You got the idea? So the 3% will come. The 3% plus 7%. How much? 5%. This is the 5% bond. 5% bond. So now it is being sold at 970 rupees because there is no demand for it. So you are losing 3%, effectively 3%. So how much will you gain? If you keep the bond with you, you will gain 3% plus 5%, 8% interest. 8% is more than the market interest. So you keep the money with you. You keep the bond. But the problem is you have to sell first. Now, what people buy is secondary. But you have the bond. Silicon Valley Bank had multiple tens of billions of dollars of bonds. Now they were safe as long as the interest rates were low, because nobody was buying those bonds. The interest rates began to go up, and consequently the bonds, the interest rates on their bonds appeared to be lower. So nobody was buying, so they began to sell at a discount. And when they began to sell, bonds worth $21 billion, because now depositors came to them, look, give us back our money, we need money, man, we put our money with you. So they had to pay back the depositors. There are multiple factors why so many depositors came together. Ignoring all that, people demanded money. Paisa do, give us back our money. So how? Silicon Valley Bank obviously didn't have that much cash. So what they did was they began to sell the bonds, $21 billion worth of bonds. But they were long-term bonds. So they sold at a discount. They suffered a loss of $2.1 billion. In a matter of 1 week, they suffered a loss of $2.1 billion. Okay. Now, obviously, you would be worried if your money is with the bank that is making a loss. You would be worried, will they pay me back tomorrow? So what you do is you also go and withdraw your money. So the deposit pressure, the withdrawal pressure went up. And in the meanwhile, what it did was the management made another blunder. Not only So the first blunder is to invest in super long-term bonds. Second blunder is that they went to the market to raise capital for $500 million to pay back people. Now this was a blunder because when you go to the market and say that, look, I don't have paisa, pay me, give me a loan of $500 million, you're telling the market that, look, I don't have paisa. You understand what I'm saying? You go to the market telling, you to raise money, you're effectively telling everyone, I don't have paisa, which effectively means again that depositors would lose trust in you. So they would come and take their money out. That's what happened in the case of Silicon Valley Bank. It had its assets for more than liabilities, but short-term serious mistakes. If there was no demand for so many withdrawals from the bank would have done well because they had enough assets, but their assets were long-term assets, which had to be sold at a discount to generate cash. Yeah. So, those of you who don't know, Silicon Valley Bank, you could write this basically. I think this is enough. Yeah, too much of stuff is not good for health. Okay, you could write this. Silicon Valley Bank, Gregory Becker. I think we mentioned this. Gregory Becker. Gone. The bank is gone. Khel khatam. Who is the new managing director and chief executive officer of Hindustan Unilever Limited? Rohit Java. What does it? Its parent company is Unilever. It's a London-based company. This is the mother company of HUL, and Hindustan Unilever Limited. See, this company owns, Quality Walls, Brook Bond, Lux, Pepsodent. So these are brands owned by this company. Lipton, stuff like that. So Rohit Java is the new CEO. He succeeds Sanjeev Mehta, outgoing CEO. Sanjeev Puri, ITC, Indian Tobacco Company is the old full name. Now the company does not use any full name. It's called ITC. That's it. Mohit Malhotra, Dabur. He is the CEO of Dabur. You know how the name comes? Da for doctor, Bar for Burman. Dr. Burman. The old way of saying doctor. Dr. Saab. Burman. Dr. Burman started this company. Burman's surname basically. Prabha Narasimhan, you don't have to write. He is the CEO of India, CEO of Colgate. Yeah, or you can say Colgate India CEO. Don't write. That's enough. Okay. So founder of Dabur, Dr. Burman, and current CEO Mohit Malhotra. Under the recently concluded AUKUS deal, which three nations agreed on a nuclear submarine project aimed at countering China's influence in the Indo-Pacific region. Well, see. The idea behind this entire deal, you see, A for Australia, UK for United Kingdom, US for United States. That's AUKUS. Fair? Let me repeat, A for Australia, UK for United Kingdom, US for United States. So this deal, under this deal, if you want to write, right? US and UK will assist Australia in acquiring nuclear powered submarines. Now there is a problem here. The Australians were never supposed to buy from the UK and the US. They were buying about 12 submarines, diesel submarines from France, in an order worth $56 billion. It's a lot of money. But then the Australians cancelled the deal with France and said we would buy from the US and UK. The French government called this cancellation of the deal a stab in the back by our friends, US and the UK. That's the exact phrasing, stab in the back. So, yeah, this is it. But then, it's all international politics. It's all paisa. What matters is paisa. Ultimately, paisa. Okay, chalo. Name the tropical cyclone that hit the coast of southern Africa, bringing a death toll to more than death. It killed more than 220 people in Malawi, Mozambique, and Madagascar. If you look at this name carefully, you will find all vowels. There are very few country names which have all the vowels. Okay, this is my childhood quiz question. That's how I can remember this. So, just to tell you, okay, since I just touched Mozambique, the capital is Maputo. What is it? Maputo. Madagascar is an island country, the fourth biggest island in the world. Fourth biggest island in the world. Its capital is Antananarivo. Antananarivo. At about 110 million years back, that's about 11 crore years back, this was a part of southern India. In fact, it was India that was located where today Madagascar is, and we split and India went up, basically, because of the movement of the Indian tectonic plate. Okay, so Madagascar's capital is Antananarivo and Mozambique is Maputo. Two are enough. Malawi is a tiny country in the heart of Africa. Malawi, you have Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi. They're all tiny places in a small stretch, basically. So, which two nations kicked off the largest joint military exercise named Operation Freedom Shield? Freedom Shield. The United States sat with its major ally in East Asia, that's South Korea, and with an eye on North Korea, they carried out these tasks, military tasks. Okay, South Korea is a pretty important country from the exam point of view, multiple exams actually. Its capital is Seoul, and its president is Yoon Suk Yeol. This is pronounced with an silent E. Seoul. You call it Seoul. Consequently, it's easy to remember Suk-yeol. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, Suk-yeol. Easy to remember. If you one of the choices, who's the president of South Korea? One of the choices is Suk-yeol. You can say, okay, I remember the capital Seoul. This is how it's pronounced in the same way. Seoul, basically. Okay. North Korea's leader is a guy named Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un. And he sits in the capital Pyongyang. 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 On March 13, 2023, IDFC Mutual Fund was rebranded Bandhan Mutual Fund. Bandhan Bank purchased IDFC Mutual Fund for about 4,600 crores. A mutual fund is typically called an AMC, Asset Management Company. What is it? Asset Management Company. If you look at Bandhan Bank CEO, I'll just bring in Bandhan Bank CEO is a guy called Chandrasekhar Ghosh. Chandrasekhar Ghosh. Bandhan Bank CEO Chandrasekhar Ghosh. Yeah. IDFC Bank, I think it's Rakesh Sharma. Rakesh Sharma. Which country passed its illegal migration bill aimed at tackling the issue of illegal migration and preventing thousands of migrants from crossing the English Channel on small boats? Okay. This is okay. This is France. Okay, Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark. If you look at the UK, this narrow channel of water is called the English Channel. English Channel. This narrow channel of water separating mainland Europe from the United Kingdom. Okay. Now the UK has long been a center of immigration. Millions of people have over the years, centuries migrated to Britain. Okay, in search of a better livelihood, in search of better opportunities, a better quality of life. That's about it. Yeah. But then now things are tightening and things are no longer as rosy as they were in the past. I mean, for the migrants, things are pretty bad. We all know the UK Prime Minister is Rishi Sunak, Sunak. Belgium capital is Brussels, and the Prime Minister is Alexander De Croo. Alexander De Croo. Spain capital is Madrid, and the Prime Minister is Pedro Sanchez. Pedro Sanchez. Cool. Chalo. German Chancellor is Olaf Scholz. You know, the capital is Berlin, so let's not focus. The France-led naval exercise named La Perouse recently kicked off its third edition in the Indian Ocean, which of the following nations is not a part of this exercise. Of course, it was aimed at China, so obviously China would not be a part of this exercise, isn't it? So, apart from these countries, there are 5 countries, France plus these 4 countries. Okay, you see these places here. France owns, Reunion Islands here. You see this Reunion Islands? Yes, this is owned by France. Okay. For long, Seychelles are also controlled by France. There is this island, called Diego Garcia, owned by the United Kingdom, but it's on a lease, Lease, lease to the United States. America has set up its biggest military base, in the Indian Ocean. At Diego Garcia, it's the biggest military base they have. Okay. See, this is Madagascar. Antananarivo, you can see here. Yes. See, I mentioned a while ago, Malawi, Rwanda. You're going to see this is Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi. This is Burundi. Yeah. This is Malawi. Tiny countries in the heart of Africa. Yeah. Fair. There's hardly anything to discuss here. This area you see here, this is called the Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa. It looks like a horn. Horn of Africa. Okay. So you have this is a Red Sea, and this is a very narrow channel here that connects Persian Gulf. Yeah. I mean, the world over. See, you see this another narrow channel here. This is called Strait of Hormuz. What is it called? Let me clear this first. Hormuz, this one. Yeah. Hormuz separates Iran from the United Arab Emirates. Iran and Emirates. Yeah. Nearly 34% of the world's, it's called a Strait of Hormuz or Strait or Hormuz Strait. 34% of the world's natural gas, about 30% of the world's oil passes through this place. Natural gas because of Iran and their Qatar here, tiny Qatar. Yes. Find the correct statements about the 2022 World Air Quality Report by IQ Air. Well, a few things are mentioned here. If you would write this, I can give you 3-4 points. Okay. Three worst polluted cities, or 3 most polluted cities. 3 most polluted cities. So, 1, Lahore. 2, Lahore is in Pakistan, of course. 2, Hotan, China. Hotan, China. 3, Bhiwadi, Rajasthan, India. Rajasthan, India. Okay, next, three most polluted countries. Three most polluted countries. Three most polluted countries. Where? Three most polluted countries. Here it's mentioned. One, Chad. Two, Iraq. Three, Pakistan. Three, Pakistan. India, rank 8. Rank 8th. You see, here's mentioned. Okay. One more thing you could write. New Delhi. New Delhi. World's most polluted capital city. World's most polluted capital city. World's most polluted capital city. Okay, next. I guess this should be fine here. Which noted Hindi writer satirical novel Pagal Khana was selected for the 32nd Vyas Samman. This is Dr. Gyan Chaturvedi, whose book Pagal Khana won the Vyas Samman. Before I discuss Vyas Samman, I'll just write. You could also write Narak Yatra, another of his works. Narak Yatra. It's a pretty famous work of Dr. Gyan Chaturvedi. Now, Vyas Samman, you could write, given to the best work of Hindi literature, best work of Hindi literature, published in the last 10 years, published in the last 10 years. Okay. In which state did Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicate to the nation the longest railway platform of 1.5 kilometers in the world? Hubbali. People call it Hubbali. I think that's how it's pronounced. If I got my pronunciation is incorrect, please forgive me. I'm not a Kannadiga, so it's slightly tough sometimes. Okay, Hubbali. The name of this railway station is 1.5 kilometer long. Can you beat this? How long is it? 1.5 kilometers. Okay. The name of this railway station is, a lot of railway stations have been renamed. Sri Siddharudha Swamiji Hubbali railway station. Siddharudha or Rhoda. I'm not very sure. It's single O, or pronunciation is not clear, so obviously spelling would not be clear. Okay, that's a full name of the Hubbali railway station. So there's hardly anything to discuss here. Okay, MK Stalin is Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Muthuvel Karunanidhi Stalin. Okay, chalo. Andhra Pradesh CM is Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy. This is Yeduguri Sandinti Jagan Mohan Reddy. That's the name. Yeduguri Sandinti Jagan Mohan Reddy. According to the Landslide Atlas report prepared by the Hyderabad-based Remote Sensing Satellite Center of the ISRO, identify the correct statements. All of these are right. Uttarakhand's Rudraprayag district is the most vulnerable to landslide. Yeah. Then there are these districts along the Western Ghats, Thrissur and Palakkad. Things are pretty bad in some places because of indiscriminate, human activity. Of course, things are bad in a lot of places, my friends. I think we recently had these cases of, some places in Uttarakhand where um, entire towns had subsided. Jyotismat, yeah. So I mean, things have been bad in some places. Whom the following have authored the book India's Struggle for Independence, Gandhian Era, 1 and 2, Jyotimani and Balan. So I'm not going to discuss this for, few questions. There are 2 3 questions in a set of 25 30 questions that I don't discuss it, yeah, except for the choice. The International Criminal Court issued a war and arrest warrant against Russian President Vladimir Putin for the unlawful deportation of Ukrainian children. Identify the correct statement regarding the ICC. So all of these are right, but why don't we write a bit more? ICC, International Criminal Court, dash, or rather below, underline that first point. Established 1998. Established 1998. Second point. Head office, Hague. Hague, Netherlands. It's in choice C. Hague, Netherlands. Third point. 123 members. 123 members. 123 members. Next. Established by Rome Statute. Statute means law, binding agreement. Next. President Piotr Hofmanski of Poland. Okay. I think we got stuff here. The Hague is also home to the International Court of Justice, ICJ. Yeah. ICJ is one of the 6 principal organs of the UN. ICC is not. Okay. To shore up liquidity and restore investor confidence, Credit Suisse, okay, it's gone. It's completely gone. The question is about, this bank also suffered a massive, run on the bank, and it's doing pretty badly. So it has recently, you could write Credit Suisse purchased by USB. It is not Union Bank of Switzerland. Okay. USB is not Union Switzerland Bank or Union Bank of Switzerland. It has no full name. Okay. For about $3.2 billion, quite cheap, my friends. Okay. You could write this. Credit Suisse, head office, Zurich, and its chairperson was a guy called Axel Lehmann. Axel Lehmann. Next, let's write USB. USB. Head office. Head office. USB head office. There are 2 head offices. One is in Zurich. Yeah. One is in Zurich. The other is in Basel. Not Basel. Basel. Both are in Switzerland. It's mentioned here. Switzerland. Okay. And its CEO is a guy called Ralph Hammers. See, you don't have to remember everything, but to become familiar is important. Okay. Become familiar. Ralph Hammers. That familiarity, that comfort level should come in. If you repeat couple of times, you'll end up remembering also. Okay. So Credit Suisse, one of the world's biggest banks, collapsed, acquired by another Swiss bank, UBS. How did I make this error? UBS. I think I was just looking at the USB on my. Here there is a USB attached to this. What is it? Laptop. Okay. USB. So UBS. Sorry. UBS. UBS acquired it for about $3.2 billion. Peanuts, actually. Yeah. Brussels, we mentioned a while ago. Roma is home to the Food and Agricultural Organization. Food and Agricultural Organization. Berlin is home to the Transparency International, one NGO. Transparency International. Paris, UNESCO. Brussels, NATO. If you want to write NATO. Brussels, NATO. So you can always write something extra. Why leaves anything untouched? Which is the first non-NATO members nation to send fighter jets to Ukraine? Poland. Poland. Poland's a more willing partner in the battle against in the war against Russia than most other countries in Europe, my friends. The capital of Poland is Warsaw. It is Warsaw. Belarus, Minsk. Estonia, Tallinn. Okay. In some places you find double I also. It's actually double N. Romania, Bucharest. Latvia, Riga. Riga. You can write the leader names of the leaders also. Not really important right now. The Polish god. Okay. Polish. The Polish Prime Minister is Mateusz Morawiecki. The President is Andrzej Duda. Latvian Prime Minister is, what's the name? Krišjānis Kariņš. You can learn anything. Okay. Estonia, Kaja Kallas. Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. You can learn anything. Romania, Klaus Iohannis. That's the name of the leaders actually. But no information overload. Let's get sympathy. Okay. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, established 1949. I repeat, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, established 1949. Head office, as I mentioned a while ago, Brussels, which is the capital of Belgium. It's headed by, its Secretary General is Jens Stoltenberg. Jens Stoltenberg of Norway. And it has 30 members. 30 members. NATO has 30 members. The Border Roads Organization opened the strategic Zojila Pass in the Greater Himalayan range at an altitude of about 12,000 feet. It acts as a gateway between Ladakh and J&K. You could write this. They may just ask you this question. Zojila Pass dash connects Ladakh with J&K. Next, snow clearance project. Because in the winter there is deep snow. Okay. Earlier, the pass would be closed for anywhere between 160 to 180 days. Okay. Last year it was closed for 73 days. Now this year it's 68 days. So they actually are minimizing the number of days during which the pass will be closed. So it means that people could move between places faster, my friends, which is good actually. So from 180 days to 73 days. Now last year 73 days, this year it's 68 days. Hopefully the number of days where the pass actually is unusable could come down. So this snow clearance project in J&K was called Beacon, Project Beacon. Okay, Project Beacon in J&K, and in Ladakh it was called Operation Vijayak. Operation Vijayak. Okay. This is good. So now you know what are the name of the projects. They may just ask you this question in one of those places. This cannot be connected because in between these two places, there is Bhutan. I just saw the choice. Bhutan. Okay. Yeah. Sikkim is here. Yeah, Sikkim is here, and Kashmir, J&K is here. So obviously there is no connect. According to the new data from the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, identify the correct statements. All of them. India was the world's top arms importer during the 4-year period between 2018 and 2022. At 11%, we have been the high, our share of global arms import has been the highest, but actually it's declining. While it's highest in the last, in the past 5 years, it's actually declining because of indigenization. That is, we are depending more on local stuff actually, yeah, made in India stuff. So we're importing less. And the world's biggest exporter of arms is the United States, of course. And why don't we write a bit more about this? Yeah, right. SIPRI, that is the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute data. SIPRI 2022 report. 2022 report. Underline that. Top 2 nations with nukes. Nukes and nuclear bombs. Top 2 nations with nukes. Top 2 with nukes. One, Russia. About 6,000. See, it's actually 5,977 bombs. I am not giving the exact number. It's not important, right? About. So, United States is about 500 less. So they have 5,500 nuclear weapons. The United States has 5,500 nuclear weapons. Russia has about 6,000. Okay. Next. Right. Top 3 arms importers in 2022. 2022. Just 1 year. Okay. Top 3 arms importers in 2022. 1. Qatar. Hey, please remember, this is only for 1 year. This is for the entire period. Okay. Qatar. 2. India. And given the war situation, 3rd, Ukraine. So the top 3 importers of weapons in 2022 were Qatar, India and Ukraine. Okay. Next, top 3 exporters 2022. Top 3 exporters. Top 3 exporters. 1. United States. 2. Russia. 3. France. Okay. Fair. The top 3 exports. We have got 2022. Since the first point is mentioned, that period, we'll just look at the top 3 importers during 2018 and 22. You could write this. Top 3 importers. I am not going to give the list of exporters, just importers. Top 3 importers during, when we say top 3 importers, obviously arms importers. Okay. 1. India. 2. Can you guess? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And the 3rd is the last year's topper, Qatar. 3rd is Qatar. So to repeat, India, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Top 3 importers during this period of 2018 to 2022. Okay. That's all from me, Bharat C. Jain. Have a lot of fun. Thank you for being here. Stay curious.